Hello, 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 everybody. I'm Dr. James Womack. So excited that you guys are with us on tonight. For those of you all who are just joining in, I want to welcome you all to the ultimate interview. This is part of our overall outreach at Destiny Church. But I want to welcome you all who are here. We want to come tonight. We want to welcome you all to be a part of what we are doing as part of our overall ministry, and want to be excited about you all being here. We call it our Outreach, our Reach Center. Our endeavor, our goal is to reach out to our community, but we are concerned about the issues that you have to encounter and the issues that you have to deal with. So with our Reach Center, we're talking about relationship training, entrepreneur training, adult literacy, career and job training, and home buying workshops. That's our overall big picture. So today, when we're talking about interviews, we're not primarily trying to teach a Bible passage. We're trying to use a biblical worldview and talk about what needs to be addressed when it comes to critical issues for those of you all who are in our community. And one of those issues is employment. So that's why we're doing what we're doing on tonight. So again, I want to welcome you all for being here on tonight to our ultimate interview for those of you all who are looking for jobs, those of you all who are looking for a better job, those of you all who have been submitting resumes and getting interviews, but you're just not getting the job. Are you tired of submitting resumes? Are you tired of doing interviews and not getting the job? Are you tired of thinking that you had the job and not getting a phone call back? Are you tired of getting a first interview, maybe a second interview, and then they just go cold on you and you don't hear anything else? We want to put an end to that on tonight. Once you get that interview, you've got to nail the interview so you can nail the job. You know, here's what happens when it comes to doing resumes. Resumes get you interviews. Good resumes get you interviews. Good interviews get you good job offers. And so we're excited about this interview stage and getting you a good interview. You doing well on your interview so that you can knock it out the park and you can nail the interview so you can nail the job. But the reality is there's some fatal assumptions that come along with trying to get a job these days. Many people think, you know what, I know how to speak, so I can do a great job in an interview. Interviews are not what they used to be. The same way resume standards aren't what they used to be. Let me give you 10 fatal assumptions people make when it comes to interviewing. Number one is the interview is about answering their questions well. If I can just answer their questions well, I'm going to do well. It's going to be well. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. The reality is you need to answer more than just the questions that they ask. Number two, they've read my resume. They know what I've done. That's a level of hubris. That's a level of assumption. You know what? Your resume got you the interview. You made it through ATS. Now you have the interview. Now it's time for you to make an impression. Now it's time for you to make an impact. Now it's time to prove that you really were the person that they read about on the resume. So you got to make sure that you are making your pitch. You got to make sure you are coming strong. You got to make sure that you are impressive when it comes to your interview. Don't automatically assume they remember your resume or they've read your resume thoroughly. Number three, they already know what they want. You know what? They are interviewing you because they're trying to see if you have what they want. They may know what they want, but when you come on the scene, you may offer more than what they think they need. So it's important for you to come and make a grand impression. Number four, being likable and confident is enough. The reality is it's important to be likable. It's important to be confident, but it's just as important to be competent and be in alignment with the overall needs, goals, and direction of the organization. Number five is being honest, and myself will carry me through. We don't want to be dishonest. We don't want to be disingenuous, but it's important to sell your fit for the job. It's important that you understand the culture. Number six, it's just a conversation. It's a conversation, but it's more than a conversation. It's a conversation with high stakes. It's a conversation that can be profitable. It's a conversation that can lead to a job or a job offer. Number seven, I'm just looking for the right fit. You know what? When you go in an interview, you are looking for a right fit, but don't assume you already have the role. Don't assume that they're already sold on you. Don't assume you're the only person that's interviewing. Number eight, the interviewer will see my potential. How will the interviewer see your potential? They don't know you. They don't know where you're from. They don't know what you've done. They don't know your track record. They hadn't spent time around you. They didn't go to school with you. It is your job to educate them on your ability to do that job well. So it's important for you to come in. And when you come in, you make a sterling impression on who you are and what you can do. Number 9, I'll get to talk about what I want eventually. You know, when you come to an interview, you've got to be strategic in selling yourself. You've got to be strategic in pitching yourself. You say, well, I don't want a job where I've got to sell myself. Young lady, young man, there are probably 150 to 300 people who've applied for that job. You are like Waldo, and they're trying to find Waldo, and you want to be able to stand out. This is your opportunity to distinguish yourself. This is your opportunity to distance yourself from the competition. You say, well, I'm not in the competition. The reality is, in today's job market, with the limited number of high-paying jobs, you are in competition for a job. With the number of people who've been laid off, number of people who are pivoting, the number of people trying to compete for six-figure roles, you are in competition. You've got to make sure you can navigate that conversation where it highlights your skills, it highlights your abilities, it highlights who you are. Number 10, I'm being evaluated. They hold the power. You are being evaluated, but they need talent. They need ability. They need somebody to come in who can do what they need. So it's important to understand. Number 11, interviewing has not changed. That is a fatal assumption. Interviewing has changed. There are more people. There's more technology involved. There are more experts involved. There are fewer great jobs that are out there. So now you have to make sure that when you come, you understand the landscape for interviewing has changed. Young adults 25 and under, it's been the same for them. But if you're over 25, the landscape has definitively changed. So our purpose for our session tonight is to ensure that you walk away with a clear roadmap, actionable tips, and the confidence to ace any interview. Along the way, we'll explore practical scenarios, critical questions, and how to turn post-interview reflections into future success. How do you manage the interview well? And then how do you manage the post-interview well? By the end of this 3-session series, you have a deeper understanding on how to prepare for and navigate interviews at any level. We'll talk about various levels of interviews. We'll talk about different types of interviews. We'll talk about different approaches to interviews. So we want to make sure that you're prepared to navigate any interview at any level, if you're being screened by a hiring manager or if you're talking to the manager. Let's dive in. Number 1, guys, we want to look at foundational practices like preparation and confidence, building that set you, confidence building that sets you apart from the competition. How can we create distance between you and the other people who are applying for the job? You may say, well, that's just not my personality. We're not asking about your personality. We're asking if you want a job. We're not asking you to be disingenuous. We're asking you to do what it takes to get the job, demonstrate your competence, demonstrate your alignment, demonstrate your ability to produce a return on investment and positively impact the bottom line. The bottom line is you need to be able to impact the bottom line. The bottom line is you need to impress upon these people who do not know you that you are worth the investment. Number 2, we want to give you advanced strategies such as tailoring star stories and communicating non-verbally. They suggest that 70% of your communication is nonverbal. When you come on the scene, what is your background? What is your lighting? What is your dress? What are your features? Are you slumped over? What is the volume of your voice? What is your pace? What is your intensity? What is your intentionality? Are you worthy of saying that when we bring you in, we're going to hire the correct person? So it's important that when you come to an interview, you have advanced strategies. When you're going for higher level jobs, they're not just looking at star. They want to know, what did you change? What did you impact? What did you create? How much revenue did you produce? They want to know about your accomplishments. They don't want to just know about your experience and your background. They want to know, how many people did you lead? How innovative were you? How creative are you? How strategic are you? Number 3, we want to look at detailed approaches to handling each type of interview and tailoring your responses for maximum impact. Here's a question for you. Do you have a job search strategy? You know, it used to be if I had a great resume, I could get me a good job. No longer is that true. You need to have an overall strategy just to make it past ATS. That's the applicant tracking system. How do you get to a human? How do you get the interview? They talk about ghost postings, where many of the jobs that are posted, they're already filled, but they need to have enough people there to build the HR statistics. How do you get past that? What is your overall strategy? Here at Maximizing Life, we have what we call a job search strategy. The job search strategy is what we call promotion. It's not just about turning in a resume. It's not just about doing an interview. It's a holistic, comprehensive process to understand the comprehensiveness and the scope of interviewing and getting a job. Number one, you got to prime yourself. Just because you're beautiful, and you are beautiful, just because you're smart, and you are smart, are you prepared to go in and empty your gun, promoting who you are, pitching who you are, communicating your fit, communicating your competence, communicating your chemistry, communicating your background, communicating your path? Are you ready to go in? Have you primed yourself to go in and make a grand impression? We're not just talking about any interview. We're talking about the ultimate interview. How many of you all are ready to go to another level when it comes to your interviewing? Next, you need to make sure you revise your resume and your cover letters. Do you have a resume that's impressive? Do you have a resume that can pass the applicant tracking system? Do you have a resume that's properly structured? Do you have a resume that can get past the gatekeepers? Do you have a resume that celebrates your accomplishments, your certifications, your licensures? Do you have a resume that can distinguish you from other people? You know, back in the day, you would put your resume on linen paper. You would put your resume on colored paper, and that would distinguish you. Well, now everything is digital. There is no thick paper. There is no colored paper. It's just, you know what? You go into the system at larger companies, they screen your resume. They look for keywords. They look for structure. They look for skills. They look for certifications. They look for accomplishments. They look for years of experience to see if you're worth an interview. Have you observed the employment landscape and trends? Too often people go into a contemporary interview with traditional approaches. Number 4 is match your values and skill sets to the employment opportunity. You've got to do research on the organization you're going to interview with. You make yourself impressive when you can tell them about their mission, their vision, their goals, their initiative, their structures, their revenue, how they made the news. Are you a good match? What is needed in the role? What type of skill set? What kind of abilities? What kind of accomplishments? Can you match your accomplishments, not your potential, not your aspirations, not even your work ethic? Can you match your abilities and your accomplishments to the keywords, to what they need in that job description? Is there a match? Oh, is you need to onboard a coach. When you start a role, you're going to a new organization, new people, new context. Very often it's important to have a sounding board to help you onboard properly. Are you tracking your transferable skills? So maybe you want a different industry. Maybe you want a different job, but there were some skills that can transfer to different industries. Are you able to transfer those skills? Are you able to communicate your transferable skills? Do you interview well and strategically? We're talking about interviewing, the ultimate interview on tonight. But notice it's step number 7, not step number 1. When you get to the interview, it's showtime. When you get to the interview, it's time for you to impress upon others your qualifications, your abilities, your values, your accomplishments. But all that comes through steps 1 through 6. It's like it's like piecing a puzzle together. Are you matching your skills, your talents, your accomplishments, your achievements, your certifications, and your licensures to what that organization needs in that role? Then we come to offer negotiation and company onboarding. And so are you prepared to do negotiation? Very often, we're not confident negotiators because we don't understand what we bring to the organization. We don't understand the finances of the organization. We don't understand the position of the organization. We don't understand the market value of that particular role. And then you want to network well. Before you get into a role, it's important to network. And once you get into a role, it's important to network. Hey, I want to encourage you guys to make some posts here in the chat. We want to answer your questions, get your feedback. We want to make sure that we're engaging what's important to you. Let me ask you a question. What level of role are you interviewing for? Many of y'all say, I'm just interviewing for a job. I'm just trying to get a job. The reality is all jobs are not equal. All jobs are not the same level. So what level role are you interviewing for? The higher the role, the greater the preparation. The higher the income for the role, the higher the pay for the role, the greater competence that's needed, the greater strategy that's needed, the greater ability that's needed, the greater synergy that's needed, the greater emotional intelligence that is needed. Are you ready for the next level? Many people want next level jobs, but they're not prepared for the next level. When you come into the interview, are you able to demonstrate you have the competence, you have the ability, you have the chops, you have the education, you have the certifications, and you have the experience and the success and the accomplishments to lead at the next level? There's something called the leadership pipeline. The leadership pipeline identifies various levels of leadership in an organization. Are you interviewing as an individual contributor? Are you interviewing as a team leader? Are you interviewing as a department manager? Are you interviewing as a division manager? Are you interviewing as a business unit manager and leader? Are you interviewing as a regional leader and an executive? Are you interviewing for the C-suite executive roles? Guys, the higher you go, the different type of interview you're going to be encountering. Once you move past step 3, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be strategic. You got to be a critical thinker. You have the ability to think on your feet. You have to have led and managed other people and not just yourself. You have to be able to get results through other people. Can you demonstrate you've gotten results through other people? When you go and say, you know what, I'm a hard worker, you almost just disqualified yourself from a management position and a high level leadership role. They automatically assume that you can manage yourself. They automatically assume that you're going to be responsible. They automatically assume that you're a hard worker. They want to know, can you get results through other people? Can you put together networks? Can you put together systems? Can you put together initiatives? Can you put together campaigns? Can you analyze market trends? The higher you go, ladies and gentlemen, it's a different type of interview. Are you prepared to interview at the higher levels? And is that demonstrated in your resume? And is that demonstrated in your fluency in your interview? So what needs to happen? Number one is preparation is non-negotiable. Preparation is not saying I went to college, not for interviews. Preparation is not saying I've had a job before. Preparation is saying I'm going to study the company's mission. I'm going to study their values. I'm going to look at their recent initiatives. I'm going to see how I can align my answers with their goals and their initiatives. I'm going to analyze the job description. I'm going to look for key words, key skills, key qualifications, key certifications. I'm going to look at what they have going on and say, you know what, how can I demonstrate in my interview I can solve the problems that they're encountering, and I want to go to the next level. Preparation is the foundation for any successful interview. Thoroughly researching the company, the role, the industry ensures that you can tailor your responses and demonstrate genuine interest in the position. Are you demonstrating that you have competence, but you also have emotional intelligence? Very often we go in like people owe us something, like people need to give us something. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, people don't owe you anything. And so it's important for you to what? I want to be well prepared. I want to know myself. I want to know the company. I want to know the market. I want to know the trends. I want to know the industry. And you need to be very, very competent. Number two, practice builds confidence. Most people do not practice, or they don't practice enough to build confidence in their interviews. They're very competent people who don't have confidence when it comes to their interviewing. They're very competent people who don't have confidence when it comes to their interviewing. You've got to have confidence. Confidence comes from repetition. Confidence comes from rehearsal. How many mock interviews have you done for your job role? Mock interviews, self-recording, rehearsing answers to potential questions to help you refine your delivery and increase your comfort level. One of my clients was, initially he wasn't getting many hits on his resume. And so I say, send me your resume. I saw his resume. We redid his resume, and now he's getting a couple interviews a week. He's getting a couple interviews a week. His phone is ringing. And so now after several weeks, he's getting a lot of interviews, but he's not getting second and third and fourth interviews. So I said, what kind of questions are they asking you? I said, I want you to make a list, email me the list so I can see what type of questions they're asking you. So he sent me over the list of questions that people were asking him. I said, man, you're not making it even past the primary level of basically the complimentary level of interview questions. So I put together some other questions based upon the jobs he was applying for. So I want you to take all these questions and I want you to put answers together for each of these questions. He sent me back to answer the questions. We revised his answers. We made them more accomplishment-based and not just experience-based. He kept telling people where he worked, how long he worked there, what his job role was, what his experience was, what his education was. In mind, people need to know, what have you accomplished? What have you done? What have you achieved? And so he sent that back to me. I sent some other questions. We revised his answers. I say, now I want you to record your answers to those questions. He recorded his answer to those questions. He sent it back to me. So you know what? I want you to go back, and now I see why you're not getting higher level interviews. You're not getting more interviews because you're not doing a good job with your interview. You're an incredible person. You have great integrity. You would be a great value to their company. They just don't know it yet. I want you to tweak this in your interview. I want you to tweak this in your interview. I want you to go record it again and then send me back the mock interview recording. I want you to do the mock interview as if somebody's interviewing you. State the question and then answer the question. I want you to get dressed for the interview. I want you to record it with good lighting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Practice builds confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 weeks later, he got an $85,000 a year job. Why? Because he became a more confident interview. He was already competent. He just wasn't confident. Conduct mock interviews with your friends, a mentor, a career coach for constructive feedback. If you don't want feedback, you're not ready for higher level jobs. If you get offended by somebody saying, you know what, that wasn't correct, you can do this better, you're not prepared for the realities of modern day higher level leadership. Practice answering common interview questions aloud to improve clarity and fluency. Can you flow in your interview? We don't have time hiring people who are shy, people who are sheepish, because that's going to carry over into their business. Record yourself to evaluate your tone, your pacing, and your nonverbal communication. Number 3, recognize that first impressions matter. You only have one time to make a first impression. You have one time to make a first impression. The first few minutes of an interview set the tone for the entire conversation. A professional appearance, whatever is professional for that context. I used to tell one of my children it's important for every person to have a suit. If you want to get a job, you got to have a suit. Well, he's in the IT field, and he's never interviewed for a job in a suit because in IT, you're behind a computer. You got a T-shirt on, you got some Dockers on, you got some flip-flops on. That's that industry. But make sure that your appearance is professional and appropriate for the industry that you're applying for. A professional appearance, punctuality. If you're on time, you're still late. A confident introduction can make a lasting positive impression. Your goal is to make a lasting impression. How can you make an impression about who you are, what you can do? Dress appropriately for the company and the culture, business former, smart casual. Arrive 10 to 15 minutes early to demonstrate punctuality and respect for the interviewer's time. Begin with a confident handshake if you're in person, a warm smile, and an enthusiastic greeting if you're virtual. You want to make sure that your impression starts as soon as you log in. They can see you in the queue. Tailor your star stories. And so your star story is situation, task, action, and result. Remember, the higher you go up that pipeline, you're not answering star questions. If you are lower on the pipeline, you are answering star questions. So what's the situation? What's the task? What was your action? And what was the result? That gives you a structured approach to a question they ask you. It shows the scope and your ability to demonstrate you can go from A to Z. Those responses effectively demonstrate your experience, but also your accomplishments. Tailor them to the role. Tailoring them to the role adds relevance and impact to your interview. So choose examples that directly align with the role's key responsibilities. What are the key words? What are the key responsibilities? And make sure that you are constantly targeting the key things they need on that job description. Choose examples that directly align with the role's key responsibilities. Highlight actions that demonstrate your unique skills and problem-solving abilities. They may ask you a question, but you can go beyond to brag on yourself, to highlight related skills, to highlight other things that they didn't ask you about. I was talking to a person who's a hiring manager the other day, and he was telling me, you know what, we just asked that person 2 questions, and they took it from there, and they covered what was listed in most of our questions. That demonstrated their foresight, that demonstrated their competence, that demonstrated their ability, that demonstrated their competence, that illustrated their understanding of industry trends. And so what is, you know what, this is a person we can bring in. They made that person a job offer. Quantify your results wherever possible to show measurable impact. Don't just say we increased it. Increase can be 1, increase can be 10. Specify how many units, how much money saved, how large of an impact, what percentage increase, what volume were we dealing with. Those kind of stats quantify what you're saying. So what I just made it better. Well, better doesn't give anybody a measure of what you're saying. Next, you want to understand the role's purpose. When you go into an interview, you shouldn't be asking questions about, well, what is the role? How does it function? Do your homework. Ask nuanced questions. Ask high-level skill questions. Ask questions to put them on their heels to see if they really know what they're talking about. Understanding the role's purpose helps you align your answers with what the employer is seeking. Show how your skills directly contribute to their goals. What are their goals? Show how your past accomplishments meet their goals. Review the job description to identify the role's primary objectives. Articulate how your skills and experiences meet or exceed the requirements. If you can find out the hiring manager or the supervisor in your area, then go there. And when you go there, go and find out what's their function. What are they doing? What are the key initiatives? When you bring up what they're posting about, when you bring up what's happening in that industry, that is impressive. Articulate how your skills and experience meet or exceed the requirements. Explain how your contributions can help solve specific challenges for the company. Ask them about things that you've read recently about where things are going. You want to act like Wayne Gretzky. They asked Wayne Gretzky one day, Wayne Gretzky, how are you so good at hockey? He said, most folks play where the puck is. I play where the puck is going. When you go into an interview, talk about where the industry is going. Talk about that next iteration. Talk about the most recent innovations. You want to make sure you ask thoughtful questions. You want to ask questions, not basic questions, not mundane questions. You want to ask insightful questions, because when you ask insightful questions, you demonstrate your competence. You demonstrate your ability. You demonstrate your ability to impact the bottom line when you ask the right kind of questions. Thoughtful, well-researched questions show your genuine interest in the company and role while allowing you to assess fit. But it also demonstrates your insight. It also demonstrates your ability. Prepare 3 to 5 questions about the company's goals, team dynamics, success metrics, and where they're looking to go. Have you all thought about? Have you all done? Have you all seen? You want to show off your competence in a humble way, but yet in a competent way. Ask about professional development opportunities or growth pathways within the organization. Demonstrate that you are coming to make a difference and you're looking to climb the ladder of success. You have ambition, appropriate ambition. Use the conversation to inquire about recent projects or initiatives relevant to your role. Nonverbal communication speaks loudly. And so your communication about your posture, your show. Are you slumped over? Are you leaning over? Or are you backed up? Is your head held high? Are you making eye contact? Even virtually, are you making eye contact? Are you watching? If it's multiple people in an interview, are you watching what people are doing? Are you watching the person on the far left, the person in the middle, the person on the far right? Are you watching how their eyebrows move when you answer questions? You're watching their nonverbals, but you also are being intentional about your nonverbals. You don't want to do anything that impacts hygiene apart from if there's a major distraction while you're interviewing. Your body language, your tone, your eye contact often communicate more than words. Strong nonverbal communications enhances credibility and engagement. When somebody walks into a room, you can see how confident they are or they are not. You know, my dad passed in 2008, but my dad walked into a room, people started to look. Because when my dad walked in, my dad had this stroll to him. It was a confident stroll. Any Womack seniors in the room, people would start looking at it, but they want to talk to him to find out who he was because of his nonverbal. Before he said a word, he made a statement. That's what you want to do. You want to make a statement before you say a word. Maintain consistent eye contact to convey confidence. And people who have low confidence don't want to look you in the eye. People who have something to hide don't want to look you in the eye. Sit and stand with a straight, open posture to appear professional and engaged. Use hand gestures naturally to emphasize key points, but avoid excessive and fidgety movement. Number 8, focus on value, not weaknesses. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has limitations. Everybody has things they're not good at. Interviewers should emphasize their strengths and what they bring to the table rather than highlighting shortcomings. Reframe challenges as learning. You know what? I didn't do that well, but what I did was I went and read this book. I went to this conference. I went on YouTube and found this out. I went to the LinkedIn class. I went and interviewed some people. And when I came back and did it again, I was able to do it better, stronger. And boy, I increased the market by this and I did this. Shift discussions about weaknesses to focus on how you've grown and improved. Emphasize your unique skills and how they align with the role's requirements. Show enthusiasm for how you can contribute value immediately, how you can make a return on investment. How can you change the bottom line? Do you understand the metrics? Do you understand the key performance indicators? Do you understand strategy? Do you understand technology? Do you understand trends? Convey that, communicate that. Stay concise and relevant. Don't just wander off. Stay on point. They don't have much time. They're trying to get in to see if you are unworthy of going to the next level. Stay on point, stay relevant. Positivity is key. Never criticize your old employer. That's an indication. If they criticize their old employer, they'll criticize their current employer. Maintain a positive attitude even when discussing challenges. It demonstrates professionalism and resilience. Avoid negativity about past experiences or past employers. Frame past difficulties as opportunities for growth and learning. We all fail. We all drop the ball. We all make mistakes. But talk about how you rebounded. Demonstrate how you were resilient. Demonstrate how you made up for what was lost. And boy, you produced a profit. Demonstrate, you know what, I made a mistake, but I made up for it. Speak respectfully about former colleagues. Use upbeat language to express enthusiasm about the opportunity. Are you excited about the opportunity? If you're really good at what you do, you can see what's not there. You can see what's not good. You can see what needs to be improved. But can you state that in a visionary fashion? Can you state that in a way where, you know what, this person's not criticizing, this person has come to improve what we're doing. Going beyond STAR. While the STAR method is effective, weaving in broader narratives and demonstrating emotional intelligence can make your stories more engaging and memorable. Can you make people smile? Can you make folks want to call you back? Can you make folks say he's confident? Can you intrigue? Because you know what? I wonder how he will function. I got to get so-and-so on this interview, but they can come and check this person out. Add context to STAR responses by explaining the why behind your actions. Highlight how you consider team dynamics, stakeholder concerns, or company culture. Incorporate lessons learned or how the experience shape your approach in some situations. And lastly, guys, your interview is not done until you follow up. You want to make sure you follow up. A thoughtful follow-up leaves a strong impression. When you follow up, drop some nuggets in to remind them of what they said, to remind them of who you are, to remind them of specific skills that stood out. Repeat what piqued their interest. Repeat what piqued their interest. Follow-up reinforces your interest in the position. It demonstrates your emotional intelligence. It demonstrates your desire and your hunger for the job. Send a personalized thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. make references to topics that were discussed, make reference to individual people, follow up on the things that they mentioned to you to demonstrate that you were an active listener. Reiterate your enthusiasm for the role and the unique value that you bring to the team. At this time, we want to look at some questions that you all may have. So if you want to put some questions in the post, we want to come now and look at what kind of questions you all have posted here in the chat on tonight. So we want to look forward to that to see what you all have included. We see we got some comments here. Let's jump in and let's see what you guys' comments are on tonight. So, but we got people saying, glad to be here. Hello, Miss Michelle Buckley. Networking is definitely always key. She's doing it where she is. She's raising money. She's partnering with organizations. She's got a new role there. Executive, that's right, Miss Sabrina Horton. We're talking about executive roles. Executive roles aren't the same as non-executive roles. Higher levels require higher competence, higher intellect, higher strategy, higher thinking, higher order thinking skills. The higher you go, the greater it gets. All righty. Thank you, Brother Tony Richards, and it's insightful. We're excited to be with you all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are glad you all were here. We're excited. On my last slide, I want to show you all how to follow up. I've got a free offer for you guys on tonight. I've got a free offer for you on tonight. If you are here and you're out there in the job market and you are interviewing, I want you all to email me your resume. Email it it'll be here on the screen. I want you all to email your resume. And when you email your resume, we will send you back a score on your resume. We'll send you back a score on your resume, and you can see what's transpired in that resume. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. Email it to info at maximizinglife.org, info at maximizinglife.org. I want you all to hit that scan right there as well. You all can go to my website, The Ultimate Job Search Company. You can see what we have to offer there just in case you want to follow up, see the service that we have to offer for you. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. What is your take on leveraging AI? That's an incredible question. Malaya Bard, that's an incredible question. You ought to leverage AI, but make sure that you are leveraging AI. AI is not your final answer. You want to allow AI to supplement what you do, not substitute what you do. You want AI to accentuate, not actuate. It's important for you to use your original ideas. It's important for you to share your wisdom, your insight, your results, and then ask AI to refine that, to shape that, to expand that. So you never just take what AI has to say. So when it comes to interviewing, you can go into AI and say, you know what, here's the job description, take the job description, and then paste the job description in and say, give me 20 high-level interview questions or 20 difficult interview questions I would need for this interview. Excellent question. So AI can help prepare you. You can also type out your responses, pop those into AI, and ask AI to critique your responses. That would be excellent as well. Can you repeat the resume submission email again? Info at maximizinglife.org. Info is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. Info at maximizinglife.org. Hey, it's been a pleasure to be here with you all. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to going to the next level. I want to invite you guys to come out for the next 2 sessions. Tonight was just an introduction. We're going to go deeper. We're going to go broader. We're going to help you get prepared for what you want to know. Oh, we got one last question. What's a reasonable amount of time to spend answering a question in our interview? You know, it really depends upon the question. It depends upon the interviewer. It depends upon the context. You know, if it's a relatively easy question, simple question, you want to answer that question in 1 minute or less. If it's a broad question, you probably want to answer that question in 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes or less. You want to demonstrate your knowledge, your wisdom, your competency. You don't want to veer off and you want to stay on point. Well, guys, we want to thank you all for being here. I want to invite you guys back for our next module, module number 2, session number 2. Guys, the next module will be offered next week, same time, same bat station. Thank you for joining in. We'll see you next week.